last hour, his calls started drying up, and he had no calls for the first time ever to the sex survey. You know why? It had nothing to do with me and my competing show.
Oh, really?
OJ was being chased in the white Bronco.
Why do you even say OJ weird?
Yeah, he says OJ and cashew weird. He can't help himself.
OJ.
Oh, there we go. OJ. Yeah, so that happened
James.
27 years ago. So I was only 2 years old. But then when was the trial? Because my parents said they were watching the trial when we were at Disney World. So it must have been a year or two later?
Yeah, I think a couple of years later.
And people were just...
Damn! Jeffrey Toobin?
I think one of the most...
Now he's a YouTube man.
He's a commentator.
I basically have spent a conflict-free life.
A freelance commenter.
Anytime...
I've always thought I've been pretty good with people. And
he's a people person.
I always thought you were pretty good with knives.
It must have been a crazy time to be alive, though.
It was. It was interesting, to be there that night and to be watching it up on the screen and doing the show, doing commentary, play by play.
You know when Randy Weingarten said, "Oh, we're going to open up, we're going to get to the bottom of this and get all the schools open." People kept putting up the picture of the white Bronco and saying, "Randy Weingarten on the way to find whoever shut down all the schools." So that white Bronco has been memed forever now.
Do you think that Randy Weingarten is rooting for the homicide hornets to win their way east across the country so they can keep the schools shut down?
I keep reading about the Delta strain. That's the latest thing. The panic porn I'm reading is the Delta strain.
What's this Delta strain? I always thought it was the India strain.
No, you know what, Taylor? Go on BusinessInsider.com. It says Delta, and New York Post is saying Delta strain.
What about the Tri-Delt strain?
Hey, I'm not a doctor. I just
came out of the sororities. Today's poll question is brought to you by goldco.com. Stagflation is making a comeback. Go to goldco.com/Howie Carr to request your free IRS loophole guide and learn how you can protect your wealth and take control of your retirement. That's goldco.com/Howie Carr. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Should public sector workers ever get more than a 3-day weekend?
No.
We're not counting things like vacations and earned time.
Right.
Just regular holidays.
Right.
90% say no.
So that's our public sector contingent, 10%.
I mean, at this point, they might as well just make it a 4-day work week. You know, and then just change it so people can plan around that rather than these holidays.
Grace, you understand that they would object to a 4-day week because most of them in the public sector have not been working 4 days for the last 16 months.
Yeah,
that would be considered a violation of the 8th Amendment.
When are we going to
cruel and unusual punishment?
When are we going to pass earned time on? So the more you take vacations, you can just claim what days you want to work.
Yeah.
What time? So for a public servant in the summer, you know, a lot of people in the private sector, you do summer Fridays, you know, you head out a little early. What do they do? Like summer Wednesdays, Wednesday at 4?
Yeah, but I think it's always been Wednesday. I mean, since I was a kid.
Not in the summer?
The joke at the State House was, I think it was Frank Hatch who used to come up with that, the former Republican minority leader. He said that State House is the only place in the world where they say have a nice weekend on Wednesday afternoon. Well, they apparently said it. They apparently said it yesterday at Medford City Hall.
I'm in the wrong business.
Bruce from the Mets says, O.J. Simpson was playing golf at the resort I worked at in Florida a week before he killed Nicole. Allegedly killed Nicole, Bruce.
Yeah, clean it up.
He is an ass. 0 tip.
I've basically spent a conflict-free life.
I like the way he stresses the first syllable.
Damn, Jeffrey Toobin.
That's a good way for him to emphasize that first syllable, considering he spent how many years in the prison in Nevada?
Yeah, that was the strangest part, is that he did end up going to jail, but not for the murder, the alleged murder.
That's the way it works out sometimes. You know, just ask Al Capone.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to play this. So sometimes we have debates about what you would say. Now, some people are vaccinated, and that's wonderful. And sometimes we have debates about what you would say if someone asked you for your vaccine status, because there was talk that, to get into certain stores, they were going to ask you, are you vaccinated or are you not? How are they going to distinguish it? And so everyone has different responses. One guy called up and said, I would ask them when their last colonoscopy was. In other words, you're asking me about my medical history. Let's ask about yours. Mm-hmm. Well, Representative Thomas Massie had a different response.
Kentucky. He's a libertarian.
He had a different response when he was asked if he has been vaccinated, and I thought it was worth playing.
Number one, you didn't answer whether or not you've been vaccinated.
Well, first of all, it's none of your business, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not vaccinated, and until there's some science, by the way, I have a master's of science degree from MIT. I'm not a virologist, but I can read data. Everybody just needs to read, and don't put your head in the sand. Look at the data. I'm not going to get the vaccine until there's data that shows that it will improve upon the immunity that's been conferred to me as a result of a natural infection that I had.
Yeah, that used to be the way people would think. Like the chicken pox, if you got it naturally, it was better than getting the vaccine, the pox vaccine.
I know. I mean, I didn't obviously go to MIT. I don't have a master's of science, but I mean, I think I can read charts and data, and I don't think you need a master's from MIT to figure out that there's really no danger. There was no danger for the vast, vast majority of people.
Yeah, well, this is what they've done now, is that to have an opinion that goes against Dr. Fauci or the science crowd means, they always throw that out. Are you a doctor? It's like, no, but, a graph is a graph. They were showing us charts for so long. You notice that, Howie? Not as many charts anymore.
Yeah. Well, you remember the chart we used to put up every week when it came out about the death rates for the age groups, Grace?
I do.
And it was rather devastating, wasn't it, to the panic porn?
And then they kept moving it around, so Howie couldn't find it anymore.
And finally, they just disappeared it altogether. It was gone.
Yeah, but I don't think they realized that you're actually decent on a computer. I think they kept figuring, we'll just move it to a different file, and he won't find it. He'll never be able to copy and paste this. But you found it. You found a way.
If it was about the Kardashians, I wouldn't have found it. But I cared about those.
They're hard to
charts.
That's where I come in. I find the Kardashians. Guys, Grace's News is brought to you by Toyota of Portsmouth, the house of value. I love my new RAV4 XLE that I got at Toyota of Portsmouth. It is a fabulous car. All the features are wonderful, but the best part was leasing it. It was so easy with all the help from the salespeople at Toyota of Portsmouth. They have a huge, sparkling, clean showroom and an incredible staff, and it's very easy to get to. It's located just south of the Portsmouth traffic circle off 95. Go to toyotaofportsmouth.com or visit them at the showroom and tell them I sent you. So this Maya Wiley, she's running for mayor of New York City.
Right. I don't think she's going to win.
I don't get that vibe either. The phone booth thing. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
She had this big plan that she was going to get Wi-Fi into all the old phone booths in New York, and it turns out it didn't make as much money as they predicted.
Did you hear, though, they had a debate last night, Channel 4, the NBC affiliate in New York, and they were just trying to ask these goofy questions to make the reporters look good, because who cares about the candidates, right? So one of the questions was, if you're mayor, what food do you want to outlaw?
What?
I'm tired. You know what? We should actually make that a segment, I think.
They're trying to root out the racists in the group. Somebody said Mexican food should go. Oh, there's your headline.
But wouldn't all the candidates say, I'm running for mayor. I'm not running for
dictator.
I'm not running for emperor. I mean,
Czar.
Who the hell wants to outlaw a food that somebody likes? We live in a free country. I mean, isn't that the answer that any American would come up with?
It didn't work out well for Bloomberg, did it, when he tried to get rid of the big gulps?
No, it didn't. But he was still reelected, but he had $57 billion. But, the thing was, every one of them had a damn answer.
Really? What were the foods?
I don't know. Some of them were just stupid things. I want to do away with the food deserts, meaning the places where people can't, there's no supermarket in the area. So which is totally a non sequitur of an answer. But that was their answer. And then I forget we'll print out the story and just see. I think this is a future segment.
Somebody say
Matt,
cicadas.
I'm a little upset you waited this long. I would have used it today, actually. A nice little segment for me. I might have to use it tomorrow. What would you outlaw, Howie?
I would just answer the way I did. I would say, that's a really dumb question.
That's a Karen question. Like, oh, you don't like the food, so now none of us can eat it?
Right. Well, what do I care? If you want to eat the food, go ahead and eat whatever the hell you damn well. You want to eat a dead murder hornet? Go ahead and do it.
Well, yeah, they were selling us, what are they called, cicadas?
Yeah, cicadas.
They were
right.
selling chocolate-covered cicadas in
Right.
D.C., and I have no issue with that.
Right.
I'm not
give
saying
me
I
a,
would-
Give me a chocolate-covered cicada. Hold a cicada. We're sold out on the grill, the 110 grills, by the way. But Grace and I hope that you're coming with us. And Grace, I hope you're going to give these away sparingly tomorrow, the Hitmans and the Brothers Bulgers.
Well, we don't even, oftentimes when people are in studio, we don't even show them those books because everybody wants to get their hands on them and there's only so many. So the first few people who come and really watch the show, you got to sit down, you got to get a table. You will be getting a prized copy that not a lot of people have their hands on.
Yes. Well, they do have their hands on it. The
They
thing,
just didn't get it for free.
right. The thing.
Yeah, no, it's
The thing
everyone
is,
has their hands on it. That was
more.
phrased
We can
poorly.
get more of these, but we can't get them on the cheap like we can get the other books because we
Right.
printed them. That's the difference.
You will get them on the cheap. I'm kind of blown away by that. What food would you
What
ban?
food would you get rid of?
If I had to, so it's a food that I hate.
Well, it's a food that supposedly that's bad for you, but it really means a food you hate, or that's eaten by people you hate. That's more like it. That's the reality in Democrat Party politics.
You know what? I'm not a big mango girl. I've never been a big fan of mangoes, but I like the mango flavor, so I wouldn't want to get rid of it completely because they got to get that from somewhere, right? Maybe a healthy food.
Candidate Curley went for the Upper West Side votes.
I'd ban all chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You're right.
Candidate Cormier went for the Staten Island vote, taking an anti-Joe Biden line, a hard line against the current president of the United States.
Come on, man.
There's a food I don't like, and I just can't think of it right now. But there is one food I don't like. But if I think of it, I'll let you know.
This will be a future segment on the show today. All right, 844. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Howard.
Here's a quote from a recent lead editorial in the Wall Street Journal. The president's economists are predicting the return of stagflation. Remember stagflation? We had it 40 years ago under Jimmy Carter, along with the misery index. It came back with Barack Obama in 2009. Stagflation crushes your retirement savings. The economy doesn't just stagnate, it regresses. A dollar buys less every month. You can already see it in the headlines. Inflation triples, gasoline prices spiraling. Democrats pushing huge tax hikes on income and capital gains. The Fed's printing money they don't have. So, what are you doing now to protect your money? Well, many turn to Goldco, the leading gold IRA company in the U.S. and four-time Inc. 500 winning company. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of five-star customer reviews, you can trust the team at Goldco to help you protect and grow your wealth. Go to goldco.com/Howie Carr to request your free IRS loophole guide and learn how you can take control of your retirement. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay and fall victim to another stock market crash, inflation hike, or dollar decline. Visit goldco.com/Howie Carr to get your free IRS loophole guide today. If you visit goldco.com/Howie Carr now, Goldco will give you up to $10,000 in free silver when you open a qualifying account. That's right, up to $10,000 in free silver. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie,
Yes.
can I add in my food?
Yes.
Raw spinach. Not cooked. Like if you get it cooked at a steakhouse, it's nice. But when they make salad with raw spinach, I hate it. It's the texture.
Headline in tomorrow's New York Post, Curly tries to cancel Popeye. I'm Howie Carr.
Want more Howie? Click the Howie Cam on HowieCarShow.com.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.